Marcus Hale ran through the bright, metallic corridors of New Dawn Station. Red alarm lights blinked on the walls, casting long shadows across the clean panels of the space station. The station's micrometeor shields had been hit, and sections of the habitat were failing fast. The sound of klaxons echoed through the decks, bouncing off metal walls in a relentless, urgent rhythm. People were running everywhere, shouting warnings, guiding families toward the emergency shelters. Marcus wasn't just running for safety, he was running toward someone. His neighbor and friend, Dr. Lyra Vance, had been in the lab when the alarm started. He knew that part of the station was unstable, and he couldn't leave her behind. As he rounded the corner, he saw smoke curling from the failing balcony platform in Sector 7B. The platform was suspended above a deep shaft leading to the station's reactor core. Sparks jumped from exposed circuits along the edge, and there, holding onto the rail with white-knuckled determination, was Lyra. Her scientific exosuit glinted in the emergency lighting, but it couldn't hide the fear on her face. "Lyra," Marcus shouted. "Just jump. I'll catch you." She hesitated, eyes wide as the platform trembled beneath her. I'm too heavy. Use both hands," she said, her voice shaking. Marcus didn't wait for her to change her mind. He planted his feet firmly on the edge of the corridor, taking a deep breath. His shoulder tensed, ready for impact. In zero gravity, timing was everything. One wrong move and both of them could fall into the reactor shaft below. The platform shuddered again, loud groans of stressed metal echoing through the corridor. Lyra's grip slipped for a moment. Marcus reached out, his hands steady, and locked onto her arms. "Trust me," he shouted. The next moment, the platform gave way. Lyra fell, her exosuit heavy and rigid, and Marcus caught her just in time. The impact slammed into his chest, knocking the wind out of him. His shoulder screamed in pain, but he refused to let go. Around them, sparks flew from exposed wires, smoke filled the air, and a piece of the platform broke away, tumbling into the reactor shaft below. "Are you okay?" Marcus asked, gritting his teeth. Lyra's breath came in shallow gasps, but she nodded. I think so. Thank you." Marcus gave her a quick, reassuring smile, though he could feel his shoulders starting to swell from the strain. "No time to thank me. We have to move before this whole section collapses." Together, they moved along the corridor. The station's emergency lights flickered, throwing long shadows that seemed to move with them. Panels hung loose from the walls, and steam hissed from broken conduits. The smell of burnt metal filled the air. People ran past them, some carrying children, others dragging emergency supplies. Everyone was focused on surviving, but Marcus knew Lyra's safety had to come first. "Where's the nearest shelter?" Lyra asked, her voice trembling. "2 decks down, across the central atrium," Marcus said. "We have to go through the maintenance hatch to avoid the collapsing sections." They reached the hatch, a narrow metal door that led into the station's service tunnels. Marcus pushed it open, and they slipped inside. Moving quickly but carefully, the tunnels were dimly lit, only the soft glow of emergency lights guiding them. The hum of the station's failing systems created a tense background, broken occasionally by the sound of metal snapping or alarms from distant decks. As they moved, Lyra glanced around nervously. "Marcus, what happened? Was it just a meteor strike?" Marcus shook his head. "Not just a meteor. Something hit the shields hard, and it was coordinated. I don't know exactly what, but it's not random." He paused. "There's more going on here than just an accident. We need to get to the control room and check the logs." Lyra nodded, though the fear in her eyes hadn't faded. "I thought the station was safe. We were told nothing could damage the hull like this." "No station is completely safe," Marcus replied. "Not in space. But humans, we survive because we try. We adapt. That's why I'm here, catching you instead of running ahead." Lyra smiled faintly, her tension easing a little. "I guess that's A very human thing to do, isn't it? They moved carefully through the tunnels. Sparks flickered along exposed wires, and a low rumble indicated that another section above them had collapsed. Every step was a reminder that the station was fragile, and their survival depended on speed and caution. After a few minutes, they reached a junction where the tunnel split in two. Marcus checked the map on his wrist device. Left leads to the central atrium. Right leads to storage and crew quarters. We go left. As they turned the corner, a section of the tunnel collapsed behind them with a deafening crash. Dust and small debris filled the air, and the echoes seemed to shake the walls around them. Marcus and Lyra stopped, catching their breath. That was close, Marcus muttered. Lyra nodded, gripping his arm for support. I never thought I'd be caught like that. I always thought I'd have to float down slowly or use a personal jetpack or something. Marcus laughed, though it was strained. Some things don't need tech. Sometimes humans are enough. You just have to trust someone else to catch you. Lyra's smile widened. You really are human in the best way, Marcus. They continued through the tunnel, eventually reaching a ladder that led down to the emergency shelter deck. Marcus went first, holding the hatch open for Lyra. She descended carefully, her exosuit making soft metallic thuds against the ladder rungs. Marcus followed, wincing slightly as his shoulder protested the movement. At the bottom, the shelter was a large, reinforced room designed to hold dozens of people safely in case of catastrophic station failure. Families were huddled together, technicians were monitoring failing systems, and volunteers were distributing emergency supplies. The air smelled of recycled oxygen and faint electrical ozone. Marcus and Lyra made their way to an empty corner, leaning against the wall to catch their breath. We made it, Marcus said quietly. Lyra nodded. Thanks to you. I don't think I would have survived if you hadn't been there. Marcus smiled, though pain ran through his body. That's what humans do. We survive. Together. We take risks for each other. That's why we're still here. Lyra looked around the room at the people waiting anxiously for news. And that's what makes humans incredible. Even when everything falls apart, we help each other. We don't give up, Marcus nodded. Exactly. Now, let's figure out what really happened on this station. We might have more than just a meteor to worry about. For the first time since the alarm started, Lyra felt a spark of hope. She wasn't alone, and Marcus's determination reminded her that humans could face anything, even the dangers of space, with courage, ingenuity, and trust in each other. And somewhere deep in her mind, she knew this was just the beginning of a story where humans would shine brighter than any star in the galaxy. Marcus and Lyra stayed in the emergency shelter for only a few minutes. The alarms continued to echo through the station, a harsh reminder that danger had not passed. The shelter's reinforced walls protected them from debris and unstable floors above, but Marcus knew that staying put wouldn't solve the bigger problem. They had to find out what caused the strike and make sure the rest of the station was safe. Lyra adjusted the straps of her exosuit. Marcus, the corridor we came from, it's probably gone by now, she said, her voice low. Even if we wanted to go back, we can't. Marcus nodded. Then we go forward. There's a maintenance hatch that leads toward the control deck. It's risky, but it's the only way. They exited the shelter, stepping into the dimly lit service tunnels. Sparks still flew from damaged panels, and the hum of failing machinery filled the air. Marcus carefully guided Lyra through each section, watching her closely. The weight of her exosuit had slowed her down slightly during their first escape, but now she seemed steadier, more determined. As they moved, Marcus noticed signs of damage everywhere. Floor panels were warped, pipes had burst, and small fires burned where insulation had caught. This hit harder than I thought, he muttered. It wasn't just a random strike. Someone or something knew exactly where to hit. Lyra frowned. Do you think it could have been an attack? But we were told the station was safe. We have shields for this. Shields protect against most debris, but they can't handle a direct, coordinated strike, Marcus explained. I don't know who or what But we need to find out quickly. They reached a narrow ladder leading up to another corridor. Marcus went first, holding the hatch open for Lyra. She climbed carefully, gripping the ladder tightly as Marcus watched every movement. Halfway up, a loud groan echoed from the corridor above. Another section of the station was collapsing. Marcus froze for a moment, feeling the vibration beneath his feet. Lyra's eyes widened, but she didn't let go. "We need to move faster," Marcus said. "Come on." Finally, they reached the top of the ladder and stepped into a corridor that led toward the control deck. The lights flickered, and smoke made the air thick and difficult to breathe. Marcus took a deep breath. "Almost there," he said, though he knew the station's layout like the back of his hand. As they turned a corner, they saw more evidence of the strike. A portion of the corridor had collapsed completely, leaving a gap that seemed impossible to cross. Lyra stopped, hesitation clear on her face. Marcus looked at the gap and then at her. "We can't go around," he said. "We have to jump across. I'll catch you if you need me." Lyra's eyes widened. "Marcus, you just caught me once. That was dangerous." "I know," he said, "but we don't have a choice. We have to keep moving if we want to survive, and if we want to help the station." Lyra nodded, taking a deep breath. "All right, I trust you." Marcus stepped forward first to test the distance, then extended his hand toward her. "Jump on 3. 1, 2, 3. Lyra jumped. Marcus caught her just as she started to fall. The impact pushed him back slightly, but he held her securely. The station groaned under their weight, and small bits of debris rained down around them. Marcus gritted his teeth, feeling his shoulder strain again. "You okay?" he asked. Lyra nodded, clutching his arm for support. Marcus helped her step forward, careful with every movement. "It's not over yet. We have to keep going." They reached a small alcove where the air was clearer. Lyra took a moment to catch her breath. "Marcus, I have to tell you something," she said, her voice quiet. "I wasn't just in the lab doing experiments. I've been working on a project. Something that could help protect the station." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "What kind of project?" Lyra glanced around, making sure no one could overhear. "I've been developing a system to detect external threats before they strike, like an advanced early warning program. But it needs to be uploaded from the control deck to work properly." Marcus's heart quickened. "That could save everyone here. Then we have to get you there." "Exactly," Lyra said, her hands tightening on her exosuit straps. "But if the corridors collapse, or if the station fails before we upload it, the system won't activate. And that could be the end of the station." Marcus looked around, determination settling over him. "Then we move fast." Together, as they advanced, they encountered more obstacles. Sections of the corridor had fallen away, leaving jagged metal and broken panels that made progress slow and careful. Marcus guided Lyra over gaps and around debris, sometimes taking the brunt of the strain as her exosuit added weight. Each step required coordination, trust, and a willingness to push through fear. During a particularly tricky section, Marcus had to catch Lyra again as she lost her footing on a slippery panel. This time, the impact pushed him against the wall, leaving a small cut along his forearm. Lyra winced. "Are you sure you're okay?" she asked. "I'm fine," Marcus said, though pain pulsed through his muscles. "Just focus on the path. We'll get through this." Finally, they reached a junction that opened onto the central atrium. From here, they could see the control deck's entrance several meters above them. Normally, it would be a simple climb. But with sections of the station destroyed, the path was dangerous. Loose beams and dangling cables made every step uncertain. Marcus looked at Lyra. "We have to climb carefully. One slip, and it could be fatal." Lyra nodded, her hands gripping a cable. "I trust you, Marcus. Let's do this." Step by step, they moved across the exposed beams, using cables to steady themselves. Marcus caught small pieces of falling debris and pushed them aside for Lyra. Every movement required focus and trust in each other, and trust in their own human strength. Halfway across, a loud alarm echoed from the control deck. Marcus's wrist device blinked. "Someone is trying to access the station remotely," he said. "It could be the reason for the strike. Whoever it is, they're controlling part of the station systems." Lyra's eyes widened. "We don't have much time. We have to get to the deck before they lock us out completely." Marcus nodded. Then, no stopping. Keep moving. Finally, they reached the base of the control deck hatch. Marcus checked the structure. It was stable enough for them to climb, though the metal groaned under their weight. "Ready?" he asked. Lyra nodded, determination written across her face. Marcus helped her up first, holding her steady as she climbed through the hatch. Then he followed, pulling himself through with all his strength. They were inside. The control deck lights flickered but remained operational. Consoles beeped, showing system failures and alarms. Marcus and Lyra looked at each other, relief and exhaustion mixing on their faces. "We made it," Marcus said quietly. "But this is just the beginning. We need to upload your system and find out who or what caused the strike." Lyra nodded, moving toward one of the consoles. "I've got the program ready. If we can get it online, we can track the source of the attack and warn the rest of the station." Marcus watched her work, feeling a surge of pride. Humans were fragile, yes. But in moments like this, their courage, ingenuity, and trust in each other made them stronger than any machine. As the first few lines of code began to upload, Marcus whispered, "We're not just surviving. We're human. And humans, we catch each other. No matter the risk." Lyra glanced at him, a faint smile breaking through her exhaustion. "And sometimes, we're caught. And that's okay, as long as someone is there to hold us." The console beeped, confirming that the system was now online. Through the flickering lights and failing circuits, a new sense of hope filled the control deck. Marcus and Lyra knew the station was far from safe, but they had taken the first step. Together, they could face anything the universe threw at them. Outside, the station trembled and groaned under pressure. But inside, two humans had shown that courage, trust, and determination could shine even brighter than the stars. And somewhere deep in their hearts, both Marcus and Lyra knew that this was only the beginning of a story where humanity would rise above every challenge. The control deck was quiet for a few moments, except for the soft hum of failing electronics and the occasional beep of alerts. Marcus watched Lyra work on the console, her fingers flying over the interface as the program she had prepared uploaded itself to the station's systems. Each second felt like an eternity, the tension heavy in the air. "Almost there," Lyra muttered. "Just a few more seconds, and we can activate the full monitoring sequence." Marcus leaned against a console, glancing at the viewport. Outside, the station's external hull showed deep scars from the strike. Panels had been torn off, exposing the inner structure to the black emptiness of space. The damage was severe, but not catastrophic. At least, not yet. "Marcus," Lyra said, her voice quieter now, "I need to tell you the truth. What I've been working on, it's more than an early warning system." Marcus turned to her. "Go on." Lyra took a deep breath. "It's a defense system. Not weapons, exactly. But something that can detect hostile actions and neutralize them before they reach the station. I've been developing algorithms to identify threats and disable them remotely." Marcus's eyes widened. "That's incredible. That could save countless lives." "Yes," Lyra said, a small smile forming despite her exhaustion, "but it needs data from every part of the station to work properly. And with the strike, some sections might already be offline. If I can't reach the remaining operational nodes, the system won't activate fully." Marcus's jaw tightened. "Then we make sure you reach them. Together." Lyra nodded, her determination clear. "But it won't be easy. Some areas might be unstable or blocked entirely. And we don't know what or who was behind this strike. Marcus's mind raced. We'll handle it. Humans adapt. Humans survive. That's what we do best. We find a way. Lyra looked at him, and for a moment, the fear in her eyes faded. You really believe that, don't you? I have to, Marcus said. If we don't, no one else will. They moved quickly, navigating the maze of corridors leading to the other operational nodes of the station. The damage from the strike was obvious at every turn. Broken panels, twisted metal, and sparks made progress slow and careful. Marcus supported Lyra as they climbed over gaps in the floor, and she assisted him when wires or debris blocked his path. Their teamwork was seamless, born from trust and necessity. As they reached the first node, Marcus activated the door. It was locked electronically, but Lyra's system bypassed the controls in seconds. The console inside blinked to life, showing the status of the node. It's operational, Lyra said. Good. That's one down. We just need 2 more to reach full capacity. Marcus exhaled, relief washing over him. 1 step closer. They moved on. But the corridors became more unstable with each step. Panels hung precariously from the ceiling, and small fires burned where wiring had shorted. At one point, Marcus had to catch Lyra again as a section of the floor gave way under her exosuit. The impact was jarring, but neither of them faltered. You're really good at catching people, Lyra said, half smiling despite the chaos. Marcus shrugged, though his shoulder ached. It's a human thing. We don't just survive alone, we help each other. That's why we're still here. They reached the second node. The door was partially blocked by debris, but Marcus lifted a panel, just enough for Lyra to slip through. She accessed the console, her fingers flying across the interface as she integrated it into her system. 2 down, she said. Just 1 more. And then the system can fully monitor the station. Marcus looked at the corridor ahead. It was the most damaged section yet. A collapsed floor leaving only narrow beams to cross. Sparks shot from broken circuits along the walls. We have to be careful, he said. 1 wrong step and we could fall. Lyra nodded, determination blazing in her eyes. We've come this far. We can do this. Together, they carefully navigated the beams, using cables for balance. Each step required focus and trust in each other. The beams groaned under their weight, but Marcus held Lyra steady as she crossed. When it was his turn, Lyra braced him, helping him move slowly and carefully. Halfway through, the station shuddered violently. Dust and debris rained down from the ceiling. Marcus's hand slipped for a moment, but Lyra caught him. Their eyes met. And in that brief moment, they shared a silent understanding. Humans survive because they support each other, even when the odds seem impossible. Finally, they reached the third node. Lyra accessed the console, integrating the last section of data into her system. Lights on the interface blinked green, confirming full operation. It's done, Lyra said, relief flooding her voice. The system is fully online. Now we can detect any threats in real time and neutralize them before they reach the station. Marcus smiled, though exhaustion weighed heavily on him. You did it. Humanity did it. Together. Lyra looked at him, eyes bright with determination. We have to test it. There might still be something approaching. Marcus nodded. Let's see what humans can do when we face the unknown. They monitored the system as it scanned the surrounding space. At first, there was nothing unusual. Then, a series of alerts appeared on the console. Small, fast-moving objects approaching the station. The system identified them as hostile drones, likely responsible for the coordinated strike. They're here, Lyra said. But the system can stop them before they reach us. Marcus watched the display, amazed. The drones were slowed and disabled as the station's automated defenses activated, guided by Lyra's system. Lights flickered as the drones were neutralized one by one. Sparks flew from a few circuits that overheated under the strain, but the system held strong. They're not invincible, Marcus said, pride in his voice. Humans aren't either, but we're clever. We adapt, and we survive. Lyra smiled, her fear replaced by confidence. We did this. Together. And this is just the beginning. The system can now protect the station. But it also shows something bigger. We're capable of more than we realize. Marcus looked out at the station through the viewport. And that's the human factor. Even when the odds are against us, even when everything seems lost, we find a way. We create solutions. We protect each other. That's what makes us strong. Lyra nodded. We've seen it firsthand. When I fell earlier, you caught me. When the station was collapsing, we helped each other across the beams. And now, we've stopped the attack before it could destroy everything. Marcus placed a hand on her shoulder. That's humanity. Not machines. Not shields. Humans. We leap for each other. We take risks. And we don't give up. That's why we survive. For a moment, the station seemed quiet. The alarms reduced to a low hum as the system stabilized. Outside, the stars shone bright, unaffected by the chaos within the station. Marcus and Lyra knew there would be more challenges ahead, more threats to face, but they also knew something powerful. Humanity, when united and determined, could overcome nearly anything. Lyra looked at Marcus, a faint smile on her lips. I never realized how strong humans could be until now. Marcus chuckled softly. Strength isn't just in muscles or technology. It's in courage, trust, and perseverance. That's what makes humans human. She nodded, feeling a renewed sense of hope. Then we keep going. We protect the station. And we protect each other. That's what we do best. Marcus looked at the console, then at the viewport. Exactly. And we'll continue. No matter what comes next, humans will find a way. The station had been shaken, threatened, and almost destroyed. But inside, two humans had shown its true strength. Courage, determination, and trust had carried them through impossible obstacles. And now, with Lyra's system online, the station was safer than it had been before the strike. Marcus and Lyra stood side by side, looking out at the stars. They knew challenges were ahead. There would always be unknown dangers in space, but they also knew this. Humans, when united, could shine brighter than any threat, overcome the impossible, and hold on to hope when it seemed lost. And for the first time in hours, both of them felt a spark of optimism. They had survived. They had succeeded. And they had proven that humanity was capable of greatness. Together, they were ready to face whatever came next. The control deck was quiet for only a few moments before the next challenge arrived. The external sensors, now fully functional thanks to Lyra's system, blinked frantically, signaling multiple incoming threats. Small drones had been disabled earlier, but the main attack fleet was approaching fast unseen until now. Marcus and Lyra stared at the monitors, realizing that the situation was more serious than they had imagined. They're not just drones, Marcus said, pointing at the display. These are larger ships. Intelligent. They can adapt to obstacles and our defenses. Lyra's fingers flew across the interface, trying to keep the station's automated systems ready. We have the technology to delay them, but we can't fight them forever. If they breach the outer hull, the station could be destroyed. Marcus ran a hand through his hair, thinking quickly. Then we have to use what humans do best: adapt, improvise, and work together. Let's move to the maintenance tunnels. From there, we can reach the outer control nodes and reinforce the shields manually. Lyra hesitated. It's dangerous out there. Some tunnels have collapsed. And the external platforms? They're barely holding. We don't have a choice, Marcus said firmly. We've survived every impossible jump and every collapsing floor so far. We can do this. They left the control deck and navigated through the partially destroyed corridors. Their path lit only by flickering emergency lights. Sparks flew from broken panels, and the hum of failing machinery made it hard to think clearly. Each step required careful balance and constant attention. Marcus supported Lyra when she stepped over broken panels, while she stabilized him when loose cables swung dangerously close. As they approached the maintenance hatch leading to the outer platforms, the station shuddered violently. A section of the hull above them had been hit by a small meteor fragment dislodged during the attack. Marcus grabbed Lyra's arm. "Hold on, this way." He pulled her through a narrow access tunnel as metal twisted and groaned above them. Finally, they reached the hatch to the outer platform. The hatch opened to reveal the station's damaged exterior. Floating panels, broken support beams, and exposed wiring created a hazardous environment. The station's shield flickered under the strain, leaving sections temporarily unprotected. "We have to move quickly," Marcus said, checking the structural map on his wrist device. "The last nodes are just ahead, but these platforms aren't stable. If we fall..." He didn't finish the sentence. The danger was obvious. Lyra nodded, her eyes sharp. "Then we don't fall. We move as one. I'll go first." She stepped onto the first exposed platform, testing each beam carefully before advancing. Marcus followed closely behind, ready to catch her if a panel gave way. The beams groaned under their combined weight, but they pressed on, focused on the task. Suddenly, a section of the platform cracked beneath Marcus's feet. He stumbled but regained his balance with Lyra's help. "Thanks," he said, gritting his teeth. "We have to stay calm. Panic will get us killed." "I know," Lyra replied, her voice steady despite the situation. "Focus. Step by step. That's all we can do." They reached the first external control node, a reinforced panel jutting from the station's hull. Marcus pried open the hatch, while Lyra interfaced her system. Sparks flew from broken circuits as she worked, but the node accepted her commands. Shields in this section began to stabilize, and the system sent feedback to the control deck. "One down," Lyra said, wiping sweat from her brow. "Just 2 more." Marcus glanced at the distant section of the platform leading to the second node. It was worse than he had feared. Bent metal, debris, and partially detached panels formed a treacherous path. He turned to Lyra. "We have to cross that next section carefully. Stay close to me." Lyra nodded, and together they advanced, testing each panel before stepping on it. The station shuddered again, and Marcus had to grab her as a piece of metal swung dangerously close. They laughed nervously, adrenaline keeping their fear at bay. As they reached the second node, Lyra interfaced her system again. This node controlled a series of auxiliary defenses along the station's hull. Marcus watched as the shields flickered and strengthened, covering more vulnerable areas. 2 down, Lyra said. 1 more, and then the station should be able to hold itself until help arrives. Marcus felt a surge of pride and hope. "We're almost there. 1 more step, and humanity wins again." The final section of the platform was the most unstable. A recent strike had ripped through the metal support beams, leaving only a narrow, twisting path over the void of space. Marcus took a deep breath. "We go together." "No mistakes." Lyra nodded, gripping his arm tightly. "Let's do this." Step by step, they advanced. A loose panel shifted under Lyra's foot, and Marcus caught her instantly. She smiled faintly, her trust in him unwavering. They moved carefully, avoiding exposed wiring and unstable metal. The station creaked and groaned as if protesting their every step. But they pressed on, driven by determination and human ingenuity. Finally, they reached the final external node. Lyra interfaced her system one last time, sending commands that stabilized the shields along the entire station. Lights flickered, but the systems held. The threat of the incoming ships was now manageable. The automated defenses could keep them at bay. Marcus exhaled deeply, leaning against a railing for support. "We did it," he said, a sense of relief flooding him. Lyra smiled, though her exhaustion was visible. "We did. The station is safe. For now." Marcus glanced at the void beyond the station, stars glittering in the distance. "For now," he echoed. "But we've shown something important today. Humans are stronger than any metal, more resilient than any shield. We survive because we work together." We adapt. We leap when needed. Lyra's eyes softened. And sometimes, we're caught when we fall. By someone else. That's the real strength. Trust. Courage. Humanity. Marcus nodded, feeling a deep sense of pride. Exactly. The station is more than metal and circuits. It's alive because of humans. And we've proven we can protect it. Outside, the hostile fleet hovered, slowed by the station's automated defenses. Some drones had been neutralized completely, while the larger ships kept a cautious distance. Marcus and Lyra watched, knowing that, while the danger was not entirely gone, humanity had shown its power. Strategy, ingenuity, and trust in each other had made the impossible possible. Marcus, Lyra said softly, we've come so far. We've survived falling platforms, collapsing corridors, and almost impossible odds. And yet, we're still here. Humans aren't weak. We're incredible. Marcus smiled, his shoulder aching but his spirit unbroken. We are. And this is why we continue to survive. No matter what the universe throws at us. Humans never give up. Humans leap. Humans hold each other when the fall comes. Lyra looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of what they had accomplished. We've done more than survive. We've shown what humans are capable of. And tomorrow, the station will continue. Stronger than ever. Marcus nodded. Stronger, yes. But not just because of shields or technology, because of humans. Courage. Ingenuity. Trust. That's what keeps us alive. A quiet moment passed, the station groaning but holding steady. Outside, the hostile ships eventually retreated, slowed and disabled by the defenses Lyra had activated. Inside, 2 humans had proven that even against impossible odds, they could survive and protect what mattered most. Marcus and Lyra shared a glance, exhaustion giving way to pride. We've faced metal and monsters today, Marcus said. And we've survived. Not just survived, Lyra replied, her voice strong. We've thrived. And that's what humans do. The station, battered but alive, shone against the darkness of space. Within it, courage and trust had turned what could have been disaster into victory. Humanity had leapt. Humans had caught each other. And together, they had prevailed. Marcus turned to Lyra. Tomorrow will bring new challenges. But right now, let's just remember what we've done, and who we are. Lyra smiled, exhaustion fading slightly. We are humans. Strong, courageous, and unstoppable. And together, there's nothing we can't face. For a moment, the station felt peaceful. The alarms had quieted. The immediate danger had passed. And the stars outside sparkled with a calm brilliance. Marcus and Lyra knew that the universe would always test them, but they also knew something stronger than any threat. Humanity. And that knowledge, that determination, would carry them through whatever came next. The station had survived, barely, but Marcus and Lyra knew the danger was not completely gone. The hostile fleet had retreated, slowed and disabled by Lyra's systems. But they were still out there. Lurking in the darkness of space, every second counted. And every human on the station depended on their next moves. Marcus leaned against a console in the control deck, rubbing his shoulder where he had been strained during the external platform traversal. Lyra was working beside him, monitoring the automated defenses, running calculations, and ensuring the system could hold if another strike occurred. We've stabilized the station, Marcus said quietly. But this isn't the end. They might return. And if they do, we need to be ready. Lyra nodded, her focus sharp. We can strengthen the shields further by manually activating auxiliary nodes around the station. It will take both of us to reach them. But I think it can be done. Marcus's eyes sparkled with determination. Then let's do it. Humans survive because we act when others hesitate. We take risks, leap for each other, and face the impossible together. They left the control deck once more, moving carefully through the station. The corridors were still damaged, and alarms flashed intermittently. Each step required caution, But neither Marcus nor Lyra hesitated. Trust and determination carried them forward. As they approached the first auxiliary node, Lyra explained her plan. These nodes are older, not fully integrated into the main system. But if we connect them, the shields can double in strength and cover every vulnerable point on the station. Marcus nodded. Then we make them work. Humanity doesn't wait for perfection. We make it happen. The first node was across a partially collapsed corridor. Marcus tested each step before moving forward. Lyra followed, gripping his arm when necessary, and together they reached the node. Marcus pried open the hatch while Lyra interfaced her system. Sparks flew, but the node accepted the commands. The shield indicators on the control deck flickered green, signaling full operational status for that section. "One down," Lyra said, relief in her voice. "Two more to go." The second node was in a section that had been almost completely destroyed. A jagged path of metal beams and loose panels stretched over a void where the corridor had collapsed. Marcus looked at it and then at Lyra. "We have to cross it," he said, "step by step. Trust me, and I'll catch you if anything goes wrong." Lyra smiled faintly. "You're very good at catching people, Marcus. But I trust you." Together, they moved carefully. Each beam creaked under their weight. Sparks flew from exposed circuits, and loose panels shifted dangerously. Marcus caught Lyra when a piece of metal swung unexpectedly. "Careful," he warned, though there was a hint of a smile. Step by step, they reached the second node. Lyra interfaced the system, activating more shields. Marcus felt a surge of hope. Humans were fragile, yes, but their courage, ingenuity, and determination made them stronger than any threat in space. "One more," Lyra said, pointing to the final node. "The most difficult one. If we succeed, the station will be fully protected." The last node was on an external platform, exposed to the vacuum of space. The path leading to it was unstable, with broken beams and dangling cables. The station shuddered beneath them as they stepped out. Marcus glanced at Lyra. "Are you ready?" he asked. "I'm ready," she replied. "Let's finish this." Together, they moved across the precarious beams. A section shifted under Lyra's weight, and Marcus caught her instantly. "I've got you," he said, steadying her. They pressed on, carefully navigating the hazardous path. The void of space stretched endlessly below them, reminding them of the stakes. One misstep could mean disaster. But neither faltered. Trust in each other and their determination to protect the station carried them forward. Finally, they reached the last node. Lyra interfaced the system, while Marcus stabilized the platform. The auxiliary node accepted her commands, and the shield indicators on the control deck blinked green across the entire station. The station was now fully protected. Marcus exhaled, leaning against a railing. "We did it. The station is safe." Lyra smiled, exhaustion etched into her features. "For now. But this proves something important. Humans aren't weak. We're clever, determined, and brave. And together, we can survive anything." Marcus nodded. "Exactly. And today, we've shown what humans can do. Not just surviving, but thriving. Overcoming impossible odds because we trust each other. We act, and we leap, when necessary." As they prepared to return inside, the sensors detected a small craft approaching at high speed. Marcus froze. "Another threat," he said. Lyra quickly accessed the defense system. "It's small, but it's moving fast. Our automated defenses will stop it, but I think we can do more. We can handle it manually." Marcus looked at her. "Then let's do it." Together, they positioned themselves at the external control panels, coordinating with the automated defenses. Marcus guided the targeting systems, while Lyra calculated precise energy pulses to disable the incoming craft. Sparks flew from the overloaded circuits, and the station shuddered under the strain. The craft approached the outer shield, but before it could breach, Marcus and Lyra's combined efforts neutralized it. The system beeped in confirmation. They had done it. Humans had once again prevailed, using courage, intelligence, and teamwork. Breathing heavily, Marcus looked at Lyra. We've survived impossible odds today. And we've shown what humans are capable of. Not just surviving, thriving, protecting each other, and overcoming challenges no machine or enemy could anticipate. Lyra nodded, a proud smile forming. We've done more than survive. We've proved that humanity is stronger than any threat. That's the real victory. Marcus glanced at the station, now stable and fully protected. This is why humans endure. Not because of technology alone, but because of heart, trust, and courage. We leap when needed. We catch each other when we fall, and we never give up. Lyra's eyes shone as she looked at Marcus. And sometimes, the leap is returned. Today, you caught me. Tomorrow, I'll catch you. That's what humans do. Marcus smiled. Exactly. And that's why we survive, and why humanity shines. No matter the darkness, they returned to the control deck, exhaustion heavy in their bones but a sense of triumph in their hearts. The station was safe. The threats had been neutralized. Humans had leapt, caught each other, and proven their courage once more. Outside, the stars glittered, indifferent to the struggles inside the station. But inside, courage, determination, and trust had turned a near disaster into a story of hope and human triumph. Marcus and Lyra stood side by side, looking out at the void of space. They knew challenges would come again. They knew dangers lurked in the darkness, but they also knew something stronger than any enemy or storm. Humans, united, were unstoppable. Lyra turned to Marcus. We've faced impossible odds today. But together, there's nothing we can't overcome. One come. One come. One come. One come. One come. Marcus nodded. And that's the truth about humanity. We leap, we fight, we survive, and we protect each other. That's why we endure. That's why we shine. For the first time in hours, the station felt calm. The alarms had subsided. The systems held steady. And in that moment, Marcus and Lyra knew that humans would continue to thrive, leap when necessary, and catch each other in the moments that mattered most. Marcus turned to Lyra one final time. Tomorrow will bring new challenges. But today we've won. And we've proven that humans, together, are stronger than anything the universe can throw at them. Lyra smiled, exhaustion replaced with pride. Yes. And as long as we trust each other, leap when needed, and never give up, humanity will always endure. Outside, the station floated peacefully against the glittering backdrop of stars. Inside, two humans had shown the power of courage, ingenuity, and trust. And that was a victory greater than any shield, any weapon, or any system. Marcus and Lyra had leapt, they had caught each other, and humanity had triumphed.